Welcome back to the JustBeCos podcast, a podcast about all things cosplay.
This podcast features me, Mangle Phantom, and...
Marmalade.
Yeah, we're both here, we're both Australian cosplayers, and we're both representing Australia next year at the World Cosplay Summit in 2023.
We hope you enjoy listening to this week's episode, and please feel free to grab a drink if you have one. Today we have new things.
What do I got? This time I've got something called Sokenbi Cha.
Oh, it's BT21.
Oh, is it? What's that?
I think it's a BTS thing or it's an app. I'm not sure which.
Stan-
I'm pretty sure they're all BTS members.
Are they? They're all
I'm
animals.
90% sure. I might be wrong.
Army? Tell us.
Line members? I'm not sure.
There's a bunch of cute little animals on it. And what
And
do you
then
got?
I've got Georgia, Japan, Craftsman, Drip, and Cold Brew Latte.
There's a lot of Japanese brands of coffee, I think.
There are. They're like cold brews.
Cold brews.
Like
I love cold brew.
Oh, did you try yours?
Not yet.
No.
I haven't even opened it.
You're
Okay,
like,
open it up,
distracted
see
about
how we go.
Cold brew.
And we'll tell them what this week's all about.
Right.
This is decaffeinated tea, which is good for me, actually. You're almost...
Cheers.
oh.
Cheers, sorry.
That's,
I was too excited.
Oh, that's just roasted tea. I like that.
Yeah, it's alright. It's not bad. It's not
Japan
bad. It's not bad.
Craftsman.
I'm more of a hot coffee girl anyway. I don't really like the cold coffees, but that's fine.
Anyway, here we are. Today will be Boxing Day when this is released.
Happy Boxing Day.
Happy Boxing Day. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas with your fam or whatever you guys got up to.
Yeah, I hope
if you're
it
not a
wasn't
Christmas
too
person.
awkward or stressful or intense.
Yeah, I don't
Hope
know.
you ate lots of good food
Yeah.
and drinks.
What if you're listening to this, whether it's going to be on Boxing Day or, hey?
Did the light just change?
No, it's all good.
The light went out.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I swear. It's all good.
No,
Keep
I
going.
think you're seeing things. Everything's still working.
Okay. Keep going.
But yeah, no, so this is going to be on Boxing Day. This comes out. I don't know exactly when you're listening to this, but we're releasing this one on Boxing Day. So that's the plan. That's the plan.
It is. It is.
So, tell you what. This episode, it's going to be slightly shorter just because we've kind of got some stuff to do in terms of real life timing. So we're going to...
Life. What a pain.
We're gonna get to it. Anyway.
We'll see.
But this week, we thought we'd talk about, because I just remembered what it was like the first time I got on a bus in cosplay. It wasn't a bus, it was a train.
Yeah.
And I had to sit in a carriage by myself, going to Supernova.
Uh-oh.
And then I thought to myself, I wonder what people think about me. Then I saw other cosplayers, and I'm like, oh, this feels a bit better. So, talk about the perception of public. In
It's a
cosplay.
massive part of cosplaying. I feel like every cosplayer will have to encounter an awkward interaction with
with the public,
Yeah.
with the normies, with the people who don't know anything. For the most part, it's been pretty good. Have you had any memorable encounters, I should say?
I have.
Yeah?
I have.
Tell
I
us some
absolutely have.
stories.
So I feel like the first one I remember was back when I was like 15 and cosplaying Shinon from Sword Art Online.
You got a lot of stories with that cosplay.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
Not good times, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
It's just what happens, I guess.
Do you still want to do Sword Art sometime?
Yeah, for
oh,
sure.
okay.
Just not Shinon ever again.
Okay.
Not that outfit, the Gun Gale Online,
Gotcha.
the green one.
Okay.
So I'd made it myself, but we were at like a photo shoot, I believe, at Roma Street Parklands in the city, and we decided to venture out, I think, for some lunch. So we were walking through King George Square. King George Square, as like a normie, is not that safe of a place to walk through without getting harassed. I genuinely think there's either people handing out religious things, people handing out DoorDash things, there's always people skateboarding, there's always people around doing weird stuff in King George Square.
It's just a big open area.
It is.
Big public square, which... It's not like the thoroughfare for shoppers and stuff. But
no, it's not.
It's very central in the city. It's very open. It's quite a nice place to hang out because it's right next to the city hall.
It's alright. I wouldn't recommend it.
Wouldn't recommend it,
but
it's there.
Yeah. So I was walking through, minding my own business, and this old man, I think he might have been homeless. I'm not sure. Old scruffy man comes up right in my face and goes, "Oh, nice tits. Can I feel them?"
Oh man, this
And
is when you were 16,
I was
wasn't it?
like 16, and I was like, I think I nearly cried.
Oh,
like, what is
would've.
happening? But I think we just ran off. But that was probably the worst in public interaction I've had with just a member of the public.
Far out.
But I think he must have been on something, or hopefully just not I don't know, just a crackhead.
I'm so sorry. Far out. Most of mine, I think, have been reasonable.
Yeah.
As it's been like,
not
wow,
sexual
what's going on? Well, I'm a dude,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna say just straight up,
It happens.
it does.
Yeah.
But just as a dude,
Yeah.
it does not happen as much. Honestly, I'm not gonna even argue that. That's just a fact. I'm so sorry that happened to
Yeah,
you.
it's okay. I've like forgotten about it.
But yeah, most of the time
Buried
it's
it.
just been like, oh, what's going on here? And I'm like, oh, it's like a comic convention. And first thing I was like,
all the
oh,
time.
are you into comics?
Yeah.
And they're like, I actually am, funnily enough. And so I was like, oh, yeah, go check it out. It's over there, Oz Comic Con, might enjoy it.
Yeah.
For the most part. But when I say, public perception, apart from just like going out in public, I think at some stage we all have to do it. Whether it be as someone who can't drive yet, so you have to catch the bus.
Yeah, public transport.
Your parents have to drop you off, and you have to kind of wait for your parents to pick you up, and you have to wait, and people are going to pass by.
Yeah. I feel like every single event I go to, when you're walking down the street in the cosplay, people always stop and ask you, like, oh, what's going on today? What's this all about? What's going on? And they never seem happy with the answer. You're like, oh, there's like a Comic-Con happening over at
Well,
like
what
the exhibition
what
center.
answer do you think
like,
they're expecting?
Oh, okay.
It's like,
I
oh,
don't know, maybe they want like a theater show or like a musician, or I don't know,
it's
like something a bit
I'm
more
in
mainstream.
I'm in the new Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory musical.
Yeah.
And here's free tickets. Is that what they want? Like,
Maybe, I don't know, yeah. They see someone dressed up, maybe they think it's like a corporate thing, yeah, like they're being paid to get dressed up.
paid to get dressed
yeah,
up.
to do something.
It's really funny though, because I've had several workplaces in my working history and whatever, and especially if it's like a corporate, I swear to God, there's just a lot of. This is not like everyone who's in corporate, but there's everyone I've kind of met. I'm like, oh, what do you do in spare time? What do you do on your weekends?
Yeah.
They've got nothing going on, so it's just like, oh. Maybe cool. Maybe it's like, oh, I watch the footy, or like I'm a really big Broncos fan, or whatever, and that's cool, right? But most of the time, it's like, oh, I walk my dog, go to the gym,
A simple life.
a simple life, and I'm like, cool,
Yeah.
cool. But no, this actually happened to me. My boss at the time, because I came to the office one morning, I was building a website or something, because I was making a website for my cosplay page or whatever it was. Maybe I put it on Facebook. I was like, yeah, just finished building a website. Pretty happy about myself. And then I think the next day I came in, I was a little bit tired or whatever it was, maybe slightly late or whatever. And I said, oh, sorry, I'm late. Just, it happens. It happens. And then just like, oh, what are you doing? Up building websites. I'm like, no. I'm not tired because I was doing that, but what? First of all, it's just like, wow, they knew because they were just looking at my Facebook.
Yeah.
And like, you're not friends with me or whatever. It's like, oh my God, so you've got nothing to do, so you just look at my Facebook.
That's weird.
That was so
I
weird.
don't like that. I had a moment like that the other day at work too, where I just work a casual job, and my manager came in and kind of asked me like, oh, how was your music festival? I was like, I didn't post on my Facebook. I didn't post that I was going to be. I didn't tell my work that's why I needed time off. So I was like, okay, clearly you've looked up or something on my story and seen my post. So I was like, what the heck? Like, what?
I feel like I've only had those encounters with people who don't have anything else going on in their life.
Okay.
This isn't taking a shot at someone who doesn't have hobbies.
But what if they're just showing interest in you though?
They're showing
and they
interest.
They don't know how else to like bring it up or like talk to you, so they bring up something they know about you.
What are they just like, oh, what did you get up to on the weekend?
Yeah.
How was your night?
That's
Rather than be like,
a bit more normal.
that's a bit more normal to me, because
Yeah.
this just shows that like, oh my God, you got nothing else better to do but look at what I'm doing in my life. So, but I wanted to bring this up as well, because obviously everyone in some way, shape, form has had you've probably got a story to tell. You've probably had someone question you, like, what's this all about? But maybe it started from, someone in the public.
Question about cosplay.
Question about cosplay,
Yeah.
right? And so I think I wanted to bring on this topic because I think that there's going to be a good way and there's going to be a bad way to kind of address it. Kind of in the same way in which it's like, oh, it's going to be one of those things which, oh, if you do this, then, cosplayers are going to have this perception of them. Or, have you ever been interviewed, for example, for the news or been in the paper or something like that before?
No, I haven't.
That's okay.
I've been interviewed for a cosplay magazine, but I don't know if that counts. That's not
Oh,
like a
what was that
mainstream
experience like?
It was good. It was all done digitally though, so
Right.
over email, just through like a questionnaire, like answering questions. But it was really
That's
nice.
cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had that done before.
No, the Cos magazine and the Colin magazine.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know we had cosplay magazines.
Yeah, they're doing really good. You can get like paper copies, like digital copies. Digital or the
printed copies.
printout. Yeah, and they're really nice quality.
Wow.
Yeah, I can show you.
How long's that been going for?
Since start of the year, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know magazines were still a thing.
Or earlier. No, it was even last year because I remember I was still in my old place when I got it.
Yeah,
so
right.
still, yeah,
Actually,
2021.
WCS had a magazine about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think it was just a digital copy only.
Yes, it was.
Oh,
It was a
like that.
newsletter. I had a full circle moment because I was going through my old PC, like filtering through documents and
Right.
like deleting old things, and I came across a whole folder. No, just one newsletter from the WCS
Right.
on like PDF. Guess who's on the cover?
Me. It was me.
It was you. I was like, what the heck is this? That's weird. That's some like weird foreshadowing.
Oh,
This
boy.
is like, how long has the seed of that
I don't
thought?
know, the
Did you go
thought-
back in time and like plant that? Like what? That's like that's weird. I was like, is that
Wait, when did you find this?
like mid-year, like July?
Wow.
June.
So this is before we did WCS, was it?
Yeah.
Quick backstory. WCS had a magazine which they did digitally for a little while, and
Or maybe it was August. Sorry, it was
Yeah.
probably after we did it.
right. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
It ran for about 2, 3, 4 issues. I can't remember.
I remember they used to have like a booth at every Supernova and convention where you could sign up to the newsletter. I
Yeah.
think it was like $10 or something, and then you like support the WCS. And
Yeah,
everything,
I think
and then you
WCS
get the
still does that
newsletter.
these days as well.
Yeah,
But I think
yeah.
they do raffles and stuff now,
Yeah,
which is really cool.
mm.
But yeah, no. So bit of history lesson. They had a magazine. Or once upon a time, digital one, and they say, "Oh, if you want to be on the cover, submit a
Yeah.
photo." And I submitted a photo, and I got the front cover,
That's so
which
cool.
was pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know what it's from. It was like a red outfit.
That was probably
put it
Star
here.
Driver.
Yeah.
Star Driver. It was this exact photo. If I can
put it
find the
I'll find
magazine,
it.
we'll put it
I'll
here.
send it to you because I have it.
But yeah, no.
Yeah.
So I was that was the front cover, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." But it's funny because we'll go into that probably later down the track because that goes into public perception as well, especially where it was held. Yeah, because that's another story. We'll tell a bit later. Okay, we'll tell a bit later. But so that was the magazine, and the reason I asked was like, "Oh, have you done an interview before?" Is because once in a while, it's usually like very last minute. So, for example, Gold Coast Supernova.
Right.
I got a message from one of my mates who works. It's like the organisation team. They're like, any cosplay available for an interview on the Gold Coast like Thursday night because they want to publish something Friday morning about Supernova coming up. And you read the articles. It's very basic stuff. It's like, oh, what's it all about? What are you excited about, kind of thing. And then they take a picture of people in their cosplay, publish it in the Gold Coast Bulletin, stuff like that. But I think I brought this topic up in the first place as well because I think if you're a cosplayer, you know the culture behind it. You kind of know what the people are like. You know what's involved in making a costume. You know what's involved in, putting on makeup, styling a wig, and getting ready for it. And I think to a lot of people who don't know what it's about, it's very much like, oh, they're dressing up for Halloween. But, obviously, this is going to be the next thing I bring up, is about parents, right? It's going to be, they don't really know what it's about. So when we try to express that to someone, they're like, that's why we get that expression on the face, like, oh, it's a comic convention. Maybe that look on their face is like, oh, why are you going through this effort to dress up that nicely? Or,
Right.
or maybe it's just like, oh, is that all it is? Kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my guess anyway. But the thing I wanted to bring up next was parents, right? Because I think they're probably the first people who kind of see you doing cosplay, and unless they are really into pop culture themselves, they might be like, why are you doing this? Maybe you do it once so they don't question it. It's like, oh, it's cool. But then they see you doing it again and again and again and again. And you're like, oh, what's going on here? What was your... 'cause I remember you... Because your dad bought you your first costume,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So he probably encouraged it in a way?
I think
would
he did, yeah, because he was also doing a lot of the reenacting in the medieval
Oh, that's cool.
period stuff. So for him, it was normal to like play dress up.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's cool.
Totally normal. And he spent like hours doing like chainmail and like leather work and like all that stuff. So he's like,
He's into it.
yeah, he's into it.
That's
he gets
cool.
It. Yeah. So luckily I had that. But my mum was definitely a little bit more on the what's going on here
What's going
side.
on here?
Because she's not even like, she's not very like hyper feminine in that, like she doesn't really do makeup or hair or any of that like
Right.
really glamorous stuff. Like doesn't really like dress up, wear
Okay.
heels, like anything like
Yeah,
that.
right.
So she's got a bit of a tomboy. And we were like she goes motorcycle riding in the bush. Like
Cool.
she's a bit more like
Bit more action adventure kind of. Yeah, right.
that stuff. And so she didn't really understand the like value with it. But I think she saw as soon as I started like I didn't really have a lot of friends in high school, so I feel like
High
as soon
school's
as
a rough time for a lot of people.
as soon as she saw that I was making friends through cosplay, it became like, oh, okay, it's about like little friends. But I remember the few times where I would come out with like all my makeup done, and she'd be like, what are you doing? Like, you look so silly, like with the like, yeah.
Silly?
No, well, you know, being like, what is this? This is crazy kind of thing.
Because cosplay makeup is, I
was doing it super thick as well,
Yeah,
like
right.
super thick, super dramatic.
Was
like,
this the
way
first
too
time that
much
you've
eyeliner.
done, one of the first few times you did makeup?
It was one
or-
of the first.
Yeah, right.
Well, no, it was like the first few years of like figuring out what I was doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because you could probably say, I won't even say arguably, I think to a big extent, a lot of cosplay makeup is probably a lot more, I was let's say heavy or a lot more expressive than just like your everyday makeup.
Yes, I was
right?
literally using top lashes as bottom lashes. So
Oh
it was
my
literally-
god. It would have been so fluttery.
Way too dramatic and just black and yeah.
Because
yeah.
then you've also got your contacts,
Yeah.
right? And then you're drawing, you're probably using different eye
And
shadow
back
palettes as well.
When I started, there weren't such an array of good contact lenses. I feel like they were like the crazy eye ones.
Oh god, that's all you had.
Yeah. The like really intense colored, like demonic.
Just
ones.
block colours too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Block colours.
Or with like the ring of black, and that was it. Yeah.
I quite like those ones actually.
Yeah, they work on dark eyes,
Right.
not so good on
Not so
lighter
light eyes.
eyes, yeah, because you end up with the weird like little green hole like in between the like where the lens ends and your pupil starts.
Right.
And you, like...
So it's just very like, it's very blocky, is
Yeah.
it? Rather than kind of blends
Yeah,
into your
yeah.
eyes.
But
That's
yeah,
interesting, yeah.
yeah.
Because when I first started doing cosplay as well, my mother was the one who taught me how to sew.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, this is the pedal, this is how you go forward. Very easy. This is how you thread a needle. I'm like, sweet. And I actually very vividly remember, before I could even sew very well at all, I was just hand stitching. So I knew how to hand stitch.
Yeah.
And then I remember one night I asked my mum, hey, can you help me fix this part of the costume up because it's not right or doesn't sit right or something. So I was doing it, and then I went out that night for dinner or something, and then I came back and she was still working on it. And I
Yeah.
felt so bad. So bad. So from that
Aw.
moment on, I
Yeah.
quite literally said, I'm promised myself, I'm never going to ask my mum for help with costume
Yeah.
ever again.
You're
Because
gonna learn.
I'm going to learn. Because
Yeah.
if anyone's going to sit up late and make costume,
Should
it's
be you.
on me.
Yeah, I think I had the same moment actually with my grandma when
Oh,
she
really?
she came to stay from Austria one summer, and I think she offered to help me with a costume, and because I didn't know how to help at all, she kind of ended up doing the majority of it, and then I felt really bad by the end of it. Like, I was very grateful,
Yeah.
but it inspired me to be like, no, I want to do it now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. Oh, actually, oh my goodness, my grandma, same thing. She's like, oh, can I get this done? My grandma's like, yep, I'll do it. She can't even speak English, mind you.
Oh, really?
She only speak
Aw,
Chinese and
cute.
Fijians. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I'll do it. So I came home and it was done. I was so proud of it. And there's the material that I was using at the time was actually the Star Driver costume I put up before.
Bless
So
her.
she's helping me with it.
No way.
But one of the panels was inside out,
Yeah.
like it was back to front.
Yeah.
But because the material was like so shiny,
Mm.
you couldn't really tell when you looked close. So one of the panels on the bottom, both the panels at the bottom are upside down, and I'm like, I didn't have the heart to tell her. There's like no, and I at that point in time didn't know how to unpick things and do it
Yeah.
myself. Like, no, it's perfect. Thank you so much, Grandma.
Aw.
It was just so heartwarming.
Yeah. Yeah.
At that time,
She
but
did her best.
she did her best, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, they're helping with it. It was so cool.
That's so sweet.
But
So your
it's
family's been like mostly supportive then when you were first starting out?
it's really
or
interesting. Yeah, well, I think when I first
Did
started
it
out.
flip?
No, well, I think my mum thought this is just a phase.
Okay,
This is
yeah.
just a phase.
Yeah.
Because after a while, I did start doing it more and more.
Yeah.
And obviously at the time I was taking it more and more seriously as well because of like, oh, this is a competition.
yeah.
I want to win this thing. And obviously there was a time I was getting stressed, as you do. And I think that's the first time I kind of got, it's like, okay, cool, I kind of got to do this myself. I don't want to expect any help from anyone. And they obviously just don't get it, and I'm not going to try and explain it to them. Unfortunately, my mate at the time was like, oh, he's taking it too seriously. He should just, chill a little bit. I'm like, buddy, even you don't understand. Like, this isn't great right now. Anyway, but they were like, yeah, he's taking it too seriously. It's like, why is he taking it so seriously? I was like, you obviously just don't get it, do you? But I think there was a turning point in which this would have been big competition 2011. I had a university exam 8 a.m. on a Saturday, and the final for this competition was at midday the same day.
Oh no.
So the night before, I didn't sleep. I sat the whole night doing stuff.
Oh no.
I had my contacts in and my makeup half done when I went to the exam.
No way.
And I drove to uni. I did the exam. It was a 2.5 hour exam. I got it done in about an hour. Like, I was just like, I passed.
No
I
way.
passed.
Wow. Yeah,
And bless my mate at the time. He said, "I'll meet you at uni.
Yeah.
I'll drive your car
Yeah.
for you, so you can like sleep for half an hour." So he did that. Like I got like 10, 20 minutes. I had still contacts in. I was like, "Oh, fuck it, this is desperate times."
Yeah.
He had like a bottle of water. He had
my
some
God.
anti-nausea pills. He had
angel.
An angel. He had like deodorant ready. I'm
Oh my
like,
God.
oh my God,
That's
bless
so
you.
cute. Yeah.
I
love that.
Yeah. So and then I went off to the competition. We did it. I didn't after that. I think
That is so much.
it was crazy. And then okay, this is where the story got. This has got public perception. Oh, actually no, this is part of it too.
Okay.
This is the first comp I ever did. Everybody,
Ever?
2011.
You said it was a final?
The finals.
Yeah.
No, we'll say first comp. I'm talking first big comp.
Okay.
Not just like a Supernova Saturday walk on stage. That's
Yeah.
it. This is like a preliminary. Do
Yeah.
a skit. Do the voicing. That kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
Star Driver costume, everybody. This is what we did first round. So that first round we got second. We got the wild card. Made it through to the finals.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
In the finals, so we did the skit, got off stage, got the results, cool. This is the partner who I wasn't getting on well with at the time. So he says, like, I kind of hope we don't win because I don't really want to go to Japan with you. That's bad. This is just a story now. We've put that behind us. It's all good. But after that, I just went downstairs. I took out my contacts, whipped off my wig. I knocked out.
Slept.
I slept on the concrete of Supernova.
Oh, no.
In like a quiet part from like 2 to 4 p.m. I was gone. My mate who drove me's got a picture of it somewhere. Where it's just like, hey, look, this
I want to see that. Oh, my
But
God.
he was really nice. It's like, yep, the king's sleeping. I'm like, oh,
Bless.
oh, you.
You worked yourself way too hard.
I love cosplay.
Insane.
But
Would you do it again?
it was an experience. And I, honest to God, swear, I said to my mum, like, Jim, did you sleep? It's like, Mum, honestly, I would prefer to fail this exam and try to do this competition.
Really?
That's how much it meant to me at the time.
Wow.
Thankfully, I passed the exam, so no one could.
That's good.
You know,
Yeah.
I didn't have to redo anything.
Yeah, that's good.
But then the very next day, I don't think I went in cosplay, but that's when I had a
No.
big fight with my partner at the time.
Okay.
And we had a fight outside Supernova at the time where there was roadworks going on. And
Oh, no,
have I told
dramatic.
you the story already?
No, it doesn't sound familiar.
Okay, so-
Roadworks.
Long story short,
Yeah.
I liked a girl. Girls involved well. Didn't like me back, unfortunately. Didn't really work out. She still wanted to be friends. I'm like, oh look, I can't. I'm not ready. Can't do it.
Yep.
So she was like, oh, that sucks. A little bit hurt by it. And then my cosplay partner at the time started dating her, and I'm like, okay, like that's cool. Like you guys do you, whatever. But then he was like, dude, can you like stop being a dick and you know just be friends? I'm like, dude, like I can't. I'm in repair.
Yeah.
I can't do this yet. So we didn't really talk up until like the 2 days before the competition, really.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and the whole time we
Ooh.
talked, it was just like cosplay.
Yeah.
That was it.
Uh-huh.
You know, it wasn't. I learned from it. Obviously, when you have a partnership with a cosplay partner, don't just talk about cosplay. Go out for a drink. Go to
Yeah.
Macca's.
Do
Buy
meaningful things
Buy some
together.
fun drinks and talk about other not
For
cosplay
hours,
things.
yes.
Yeah.
Get personal.
Yeah, get personal. Get to know each other. I
Yeah.
actually enjoy hanging out with them where it's not just all business talk, really. But yeah, and then after that, we, you know, I think it kind of came to a peak. I think we kind of like, let's get through the competition. Then after the competition had passed, the next day, I think it was very much like, you know, let's talk. Like, you know, kind of want to be friends again. Like, look, I'm sorry, I need time. I'm really not ready. And it just ended up in a big explosive kind of bit of a yelling match, unfortunately. So they stormed off, and I was just there by myself in tears. And then the poor guy who was holding like the lollipop sign of like, you know, stop and slow, he was about, I don't know, 10 meters, 20 meters that way. Poor guy heard the whole thing. But he was kind of like, I was, you know, had to walk back eventually, and was like, you know, I'm really sorry that happened to you, dude, but, you know, you held your grounds, just, you know, hope you have a good day kind of thing.
He had the whole
He
thing.
held the whole thing! The whole thing!
Oh, no. Oh.
Yeah. So that happened. You know, it's just a story I tell now. Obviously at the time it was like, oh, my best mate's kind of done that, and friend group a little bit splintered at that point, but, you know, that's part of life, really. But I say public perception because, you know, I don't know what the guy would have thought. Maybe it was just people who just had a bad time. They think,
Yeah.
oh, cosplayers are crazy.
But were you in cosplay? You said you weren't.
They were. My friends
Okay.
were.
You weren't.
I was
Oh, okay.
gone. I was too tired to
Yeah.
deal with anything, really.
Yeah.
And that would have been probably one of the first few times I was starting to evaluate, do I still want to do cosplay anymore? Do I care about it? I don't know. Before I go on with any like more stories, I've been rambling for a while now. Have you ever had a time in which you feel like you've been out in public and maybe you've done something, maybe it was just purely instinctively to defend yourself from someone harassing you, or maybe it was even with your own family in some way, shape or form, where you've been like, oh, maybe what I've done is like, oh, cosplayers are weird. Cosplayers as a hobby is just like, oh, if that's what they're all like.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of times where I can like remember doing something I regret, or like in cosplay, but I think I've always been hyper conscious of not giving the wrong impression.
Right. So you're not doing like backflips in your Naruto costume in the middle of
I did not.
Queen Street Mall or something?
Only in safe places. I feel like I only did it in like conventions and stuff, places where it was normal.
Right, you're using the backflips in Supernova.
Yeah, no, I don't know how to do a backflip. I wish I did, but I do not know how to do a backflip. No, I'm trying to think. I'm like, I remember a big moment for me was I did the fashion parade in my high school.
That's cool.
And I really wanted to enter my costumes, and I was really worried about giving the wrong impression, especially because I couldn't get a lot of cosplayers to model them. I had to get like my mainstream friends to wear them and model them, so I was a bit hyper conscious of like making sure that they didn't get a weird idea, because so many people, I don't know why it was like a thing back then, or at least in high school, a lot of the boys that I interacted with would be like, oh, it's a sexual thing. It's a sexual thing. And I'm like, it's not about that. Like, please appreciate all the handmade, like the hours that I've spent making these by hand.
The funny thing is, I think that's a very common misconception about cosplay.
Yeah.
That it's just about like roleplay dress-ups and stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
or like a kinky thing.
Or it's a kinky thing.
It is for some people, but not everybody.
Not everyone.
All. Yeah.
I think a good majority of cosplayers that we don't see it as something that's like, oh, I'm going to wear this so it can be erotic and arousing to people around. No, it's not like that.
No.
But I think for somebody who has no idea about the hobby itself, that's probably the biggest misconception about it.
I'd say
or
so.
Just dismissed as like, oh, Halloween costume, just dress up for fun kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but
there's been a few times where I feel like I've had to like professionally act while in cosplay. Like I feel like there's been multitude of opportunities where I kind of have to rise to the occasion, where I'm dealing with like the Brisbane City Council have hired like Aquaria in the past as the Love Life group to come and be like roaming entertainment at an event.
Yeah.
And so we have to like not be in character and be professional and like talk about what we're doing in, you know, like professional environments, where you kind of are trying to make sure that you're coming across professionally rather than like, oh, I'm just messing around doing this
of
for
course
fun.
yeah
like,
yeah
no, please take me seriously, like as a hobby is what it is. And
because that's a good point actually, because as I think the closest that we'll get apart from just random encounters with people on the street or, you know, just with your family, one of the few times that we probably would come into contact with members of the public or just people who don't know anything about it is when you do, you know, work opportunities where it involves cosplay. So you said with the Brisbane City Council, was that like a paid gig?
It was. I'm trying to remember. I don't know how much it was for, but there was a few events where we would do Youth Week in the city.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it would be like roaming around at the event, but it's I think it might be a bit of a misconception there, where the council sees us as like children's entertainment.
Right.
Yes, even though like there was no kind of mention of it, it's like the way that the Love Life group presents is very child friendly. It's all like colourful costumes, everything. It's all very eye-catching, it's all bright, it's happiness, like it's very much then associated with children's entertainment and the dancing, obviously, the performing, all of that, when it's not. But I think that's maybe the misconception from council as to why we were maybe hired, is because we do look we appear quite child-friendly. If you were to pull up some, like, you know, the Wiggles or whatever,
of course,
very similar, or JoJo Siwa, you know what I mean, like that style of entertainment. But yeah, I feel like that can be an easy misconception from the public. Because
I think too, when people think, oh, comic book characters and stuff like that, you think, you know, Marvel like Thor and stuff like that. Movies. Batman. And so I probably think that's probably the only kind of time where it's just like, oh, you look like this character, can we get a photo or something? And I think a lot of it probably is either dismissed as, like you said, children's entertainment or something erotic. And I think a lot of the time it's just, I don't think you really understand what kind of goes into this kind of thing in the same way that we you probably wouldn't understand unless you were kind of in the hobby, right?
Yeah, and I don't think the public, I think, always assume that you've bought it.
Yeah.
They never assume that you've made it.
Well, that's the thing. I think a very common question for a lot of people when it doesn't matter if you're in the hobby as a cosplay or if you're a member of the public, the first question I think I get asked more often than not is, how did you make this? Or did you make this? I'd be first like, oh, did you make it? Yeah, it's cool. It's like, oh, wow. It's where did you buy this from? Because maybe it is becoming so accessible that it's, well, I think
people buy everything these days.
There's everything. I think it's becoming less common to be able to...
It's not like, did you make that table? No.
No, I bought it. Yeah.
Oh, where'd you get those shoes? Yeah.
So it's all bought kind of things. Did you have any interactions with like extended family? Because I know as much as, you know, my parents have kind of accepted, hey, this is what he does, you know, that's the kind of thing. Like my mom's like, oh, just a phase. He's still making costumes.
Yes.
How about when it comes to like aunties and uncles and stuff like that? What's... Because I think they're going to be even more judgmental.
Yes. They just don't get it.
They just don't get it.
Absolutely am coming to mind. I have some amazing cousins, I would say, who every Christmas, you know, get together, gathering, the cousins are always the ones who get it. They're like, oh, your cosplays, they look awesome, you're doing such a great job, it's so cool to see you doing that. The aunties and uncles are like, are you still doing that costume stuff? The things? The sewing things?
I still get the same questions as well.
Like, what?
Like, yeah.
They always refer to it in, like, a derogatory way. It's like, oh, that stuff.
That stuff.
The things.
Still making, was it playing dress-ups or something? Playing dress-ups is what I get a lot, actually.
I hate that. Yeah.
You just don't understand.
No. Especially, I feel like, have you tried to tell any of your aunties or uncles about WCS or like that accomplishment?
Yeah,
like,
I have. I'm just like
representing Australia.
The best.
And they're like, oh, are you? Oh, good for you.
I think it's actually, like I said, I had a cousin because I posted about it. It's like, oh, congratulations, so you're in Japan kind of thing. So we had a chat about cousins are cool.
Cousins are great.
Cousins are great.
Cousins get it. They're the real ones. I miss my cousins. I have a cousin in Japan. We got to go visit.
Where they live?
I have no idea. I think I'm not going to out him.
No, okay, that's fine.
I believe it starts with an N, the suburb that he's in, but I don't
Cool.
I don't want to say that. He might have moved, I'm not sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, I think the best way I've found to describe WCS among anyone who doesn't really get it is that it's like the Olympics.
That's what I say.
I say too. It's like the costume, the cosplay
Even then,
Olympics.
they don't take you seriously sometimes.
Oh man.
What about like my coworkers constantly? I feel like I try to bring them up, or at like uni, I've tried to like say it, be like, oh, I can't wait, I'm going to Japan next year, blah blah. Actually, like doing this thing, for this thing. And they're like, oh, okay. Okay.
I would think like a creative, like film and TV, they'd be like, wow, that's kind of cool because
you would think so.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, you get different responses from different people. I feel like the reactions from boys and girls differ as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel like girls are a lot quicker to ask more questions about it, be more curious.
Yes.
Whereas I've had more experiences. I don't know if it's like not all guys.
Yeah,
not
of course,
all film
of course.
bros, not all of them, but some of them are a bit like, oh, she's better than me. God damn it. No.
Honestly, again, not all guys. I think it's a lot of guys who.
A lot of the like film theory classes that I take.
Really.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like, oh, she's actually doing something.
Or they just don't get it, or they don't want to get it. They think it's weird and they don't want to like get into it. They don't want to open that subject.
That's so interesting. Look, I know boys in general, they whether we like to admit it or not, we don't like being like one-upped or like, oh, she's better than me, or I can't show that, like.
But I always try and give and take. I always try to ask, okay, what are you up to? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? Is there anything you're working on at the moment? Are you writing anything? What, like,
give me
you want
something.
to make a music video? What are you doing? Yeah, like.
And they're like, oh yeah, this. And you're
like every time.
Yeah.
Every time. I don't know.
It might be one of those things because
they make me feel like a freak though. Do you get made to feel like a freak?
Boys.
No, like
just
people. Or the aunties and uncles, like people who just don't really ask any further questions.
It's a little mental hurdle I have to get over as well. I think to me, it's something that I am incredibly proud of. I love doing it, and if they don't care about it, like they're not interested in hearing, that's fine, right? But if it's going to be one of those things in which they're going to start, picking at it or they make fun about it.
Yeah.
This is a mental hurdle I had to get over very early, especially as a guy, because it's like, oh, you do costumes, like makeup and stuff. Yeah. One of the first kind of like male role models that I had in cosplay was another cosplayer who was a dude and was a bit older than me. And I said, oh, so what happens when you get asked that question? It's like, yeah, I talk to my coworkers all the time. Like, you do cosplay? And his answer was something like fuck yeah, I do cosplay. You know, I get to, you know, put makeup on. I get to, you know, make cool things. Like, it's awesome. And
it's a lot to do with how you...
It's the way you perceive
them.
it, and the way that you tell how you go about it. If they were to make fun of it, if you're not bothered by it, then what are they going to do from then? Because if they were to kind of pick at it more from then, they're really going to look like an ass.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Their true colours will come
out. Yeah. So, because if you say, like, I do this, and like, oh, wow, what's that? I don't think that they usually intend to be rude. Maybe it comes across. But if you just show us, like, yeah, this is what I do. Like, it does this, this, this. I love it. It's awesome. The second someone from that point starts to pick at it, then they're going to look like an ass. It goes from curiosity to being an ass. So.
Yeah.
And I find usually, when I talk about it in a way that's very enthusiastic, it's much harder to pick at that point, even if they want to.
Yeah.
But because if you're, as I was for a long time, especially as a dude, it's like, oh, dudes do sewing. Yeah, dudes do sewing. Dudes do makeup. It's like, oh yeah, kind of do cosplay and, you know, it's makeup and stuff like that. You don't want to talk about it. Obviously, you're insecure about it. Obviously, you don't want the public to know. But the second you're like, yeah, this is what I do. It's awesome. I love it. They can't touch you. Yeah. You're untouchable.
If you're someone who has held back telling what you do to other people, give it a go.
This is the time.
You never know what may happen.
Yeah. Well, this is the time.
Challenge yourself.
If you're not sure how to reply, do it exactly what I just told you. Just be like, oh, you do this? Like, hell yeah, I do cosplay.
I think we should challenge our listeners.
Challenge the listeners.
New Year's Eve is coming up. Usually that's a chance to get together with people. If there are people you haven't seen in a while, maybe
it's a family member.
Maybe it's a chance to tell them when they ask, oh, what have you been up to this year? Be like, you know what? I did so much this year.
Making cosplay. It's like, hey, check this out. Show you Instagram.
Yeah. Show them the outfits that you made. Show them what makeup you did. See what happens.
It's funny, actually, because my co-workers in my new job, I won't say mostly, they are basically all girls.
Yeah.
It's call center stuff. So it's not like I'm working a nail salon or anything like that. Even if I was
a nail salon,
it's like even if I was,
interesting example.
I'd say like an industry which is probably got more ladies than guys in it, right? But yeah, so they're talking about like makeup and they're talking about like a nail business they want to run, for example. That's kind of why I brought it up.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, that's really cool. It's like, I kind of find that kind of stuff really interesting and fun to do. And they're like, what do you mean fun to do? It's like, yeah, just, do makeup and this kind of thing because I do cosplay. It's like, oh, what's cosplay? And I think it's like you said, I think girls are probably a bit more interested.
I swear they are. Yeah, I swear. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's just because I interact with a lot more girls than I do with guys. But I don't know.
But just going back on the like extended family and stuff like that, I did exactly the same thing with my family. Like I said, I had to learn that. I don't had to, but I was grateful that I learned it pretty early in my, let's say, cosplay career, because I met my my male role model friends about probably the year after that first competition that I did, because we were kind of discussing, hey, maybe we should enter together too. It never happened, unfortunately. Me and that friend of mine, because I think he moved on shortly after, and I started doing competition with another friend, which was another experience in itself, but that's another story for another time. But yeah, I think I was grateful to learn that very early on, because the second that I did and other family members came, it's like, oh, what are you doing these days? Making costumes. Like, still playing dress-ups? Like, hell yeah, I'm still playing dress-ups. It's so much fun. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Like, it turns from like, oh, he's still doing it to like, oh, yeah, I'm still doing it. Try it out. Pro strats. If you want to learn how to talk to your family about it, just literally show off your passion. Show them you're not ashamed of what you're doing, and that'll really shine through. I think it makes all the difference.
It made me think, I just remembered another awkward interaction I had because my dad got married earlier in October, and so I got to meet a lot of his kind of friends and his wife's, like Leanne, my new stepmom, family and friends, and a lot of them are of the older generation. And so it was interesting, kind of, I think Dad had told a few of them what I do, but not really, but a little bit. So I had kind of these like people trying to meet me for the first time and go, oh, we hear you do this costume stuff, and how's that? And it's just sort of like, okay, give them the spiel, tell them about it. And then later on in the night, this one fellow it was that time of the night of the wedding where we were all dancing on the dance floor. The music's going super loud, and I'm dancing with my sister. We've had a few drinks. Like, we're just enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
This guy comes up to me. He's dancing as well. This old man. I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
Whatever.
And then he comes and whispers in my, not whispers, yells, because the music's really loud. He's like, "You would make a great Harley Quinn." I'm like, Thanks, bud.
Thanks, dude.
And in that moment, I kind of go, okay, you've looked at me, you've thought about what I do, and then you've imposed what you think I should do. And I felt quite uncomfortable in the moment, but, you know, maybe it's just a generational difference. Maybe that's just the characters that he's thought of, being like, oh, that's a young woman thing. What do you think of that?
He's trying
to be relatable.
Trying to be relatable.
Yeah.
I don't think he meant to be causing any discomfort.
I found it funny, you see.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it.
Because my sister, Pip, who was there, cosplays as Harley Quinn. But he said it to me, not her. I just thought that was kind of funny. I was thinking, that's a bit ironic. You know, she does. Oh, no, not me. She does.
Pip, you'd make a great Harley Quinn.
She would. She does.
She does.
Have you seen it?
I haven't.
It's cool. She made the one with the poofy jacket confetti.
I've just
it
watched.
looks amazing with the tinsel.
What's this? I think it's Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
With John Cena.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
the
one?
second one. The second one's really good.
I'm not the one with the big monster that grows bigger and bigger.
The Star.
The Star?
Yeah.
Starfish? That's
the
the
big
one?
eye?
Was there like a second one?
Yeah, it's the second one.
I've only seen...
And there's also Birds of Prey, which is a Harley Quinn's only, like, girls' power movie. Yeah. I haven't watched it, but
I
that's
think
the one
I've just
Pip
watched the
cosplayed
one,
from,
with
I believe.
the...
You should watch them, they're good. Margot Robbie's amazing, so...
She's a lovely person.
Yes. Have you met her?
No. She looks like a
How do you know
lovely
she's
person.
lovely?
I mean, she couldn't, but you know what? Oh,
Aussie pride
you know
coming
what?
through, yeah.
Celebrities that we've met later. You reckon we can talk about
Maybe.
that? Yeah. See how we go.
Haven't met many, but yeah.
Oh look, you've probably met cosplay celebrities too.
A few.
Few?
Not many.
Not really?
I don't know. Still more to meet.
There's still more to meet. I've met a few through the years. I've got opinions about
You got
some.
opinions?
Some.
I hope that I get to meet Jessica Negri before I die. Before I quit cosplay.
I think
before she quits cosplay.
You got to go to America.
I gotta.
Go to America.
I will.
Is that like a plan for next year?
It is. Look at my lock screen. I've set it to be like planes and little clouds because I'm determined
Traveling
to get out of here. Next year will be travel year.
Travel year.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Is your passport sorted?
Yeah. I've got that 2019 set up for 10 years. I'm good.
Oh, right.
Good till I'm 30.
I think mine expired
Good till I'm
2019, and
30.
then like lockdown. I'm like, I don't need to replace this.
I know.
It was good because I just
good
got it
timing,
replaced.
yeah.
Good timing.
Well, yeah, I got mine in 2019.
2019.
So. Oops.
Oh.
I think I went on a holiday too. It was like
As
for
long
that
as you use
holiday.
it, because I haven't used it in 3 years, and I'm like, time to renew it because you meet Japan next year. So
Yes, exciting.
that'd be
Hell
good.
yeah.
But yeah. Apart from that, how about how about in school? Did you say like it was a bit of a weird time there for expressing that?
It was very awkward in school. Yeah, like I said, that fashion parade event, and like there was a few things. Like I was going to Supernovas. I did not look good at these events.
Hey, look, we're
like,
doing our best.
I was like, I was cross-playing. I was still figuring out like being comfortable in my own skin, kind of thing. Like didn't know what I was doing.
I think that's at the stage too, right? In which the stage in life in which everyone around you is very judgmental, and you're trying really hard to fit in because you don't want to be picked on or anything like that.
No, I think I was lucky in that I had like I was quite sheltered in high school because I was part of like a German immersion program.
Right.
So all of the kids kind of like looked after each other. We were only 2 classes rather than having the entire 13 classes of grade 8s. We just kept ourselves in those 2 classes, and even then it was usually the one class that stuck together, so it was kind of like a bit of camaraderie. We stuck together through the entire high school experience.
That's cool.
And we were like too busy learning German, too busy doing all of this stuff to be worried about too much drama, honestly. But there was a few nerdy kids who we kind of stuck together, and we were the ones who would go to like the events together, so it was a bit of safety net there. But I feel like outside of that, every time I try and roam, because you'd have your elective classes.
You've got your circles, as you do.
So yeah, we had like the main German classes where we were together, but as soon as we got electives, you'd have to like venture out into the greater school, and you would try and sort of talk to those peers, like those kids, and a lot of them were interested in interested in drinking, interested in doing other things,
Other
and
things,
partying,
yeah,
and
right.
I was very much super nerdy, being like, "Have you seen Full Metal Alchemist?
Full Metal
It's really
Alchemist.
good."
Do you know about the law of equivalent
I
exchange?
think we had the laptop skins, right? And you could like order what sticker you'd want on your laptop, like the big one.
You could do that.
Yeah. You would order like you'd get like a laptop cover, and everyone had like normal ones, and mine was just a big Full Metal Alchemist
remember,
like print.
I went to school at a time in which
Yeah.
laptops for every student wasn't a thing. We had the big CRT monitors in the computer room still.
CRT? What is that?
Okay, so that's when
I
the
know what that
computer
is.
screen was a big cube.
Oh god.
It was a cube.
Thick boy.
These flat screen monitors and TVs didn't exist. You had a fat TV and a
No.
fat screen and a fat phone. Oh yeah, the big brick phones. That
Did
was
you
it,
have the projector things with the clear sheets that they would like project over?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we had
Do you know
those.
what those were called?
No.
Overhead transparencies,
Oh my
OHTs.
God.
Yep. That's
Okay.
what they were called.
Okay.
You didn't have a computer that was hooked up to the roof with the projector?
No. I feel like I went through that awkward technology stage where they were like figuring things out,
Figuring
like they were
things out.
phasing things out.
Yeah.
Like we went through a period where we had the whiteboards that were like touchscreen and they were terrible.
We
They
still-
were terrible. They did
We
not
still
work
had
at all.
blackboards in some classrooms, like chalkboards.
Same.
We still had them?
We had
Okay.
the
That hasn't
chalkboard,
changed.
and then we had the whiteboard, and then we had the pull down
Oh, the pull down screen.
projector screen as well. So it was like all sorts going on.
And you've got that OHT projector on like a little wheelie trolley, which they had to
wheel in,
okay.
and the TVs that
And the
would wheel
TV.
in.
Well, that's it. The fat TVs, right?
Yeah.
They were
we
still
had
fat
those.
ones.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did. They looked like if they fell on you, you would be killed.
You'd be killed.
You'd
Yes.
be crushed.
Well, that's the funny thing
to
because you
death.
know, like big, like TVs these days,
Yeah.
right? Imagine that they wouldn't get as big as they do these days.
No.
But the biggest TVs you get were also like 6 times heavier, because it
Yeah,
was just
yeah,
a
yeah.
big box.
Yeah,
It was
definitely
crazy.
heavier than you were as a small child.
Yes, absolutely. Bigger than I
Oh,
was as a small
God.
child. So if that
Deadly.
fell, I'd be gone.
Yeah,
So.
deadly.
But you know
yeah.
that was from another time. But anyway, I went to an all boys school, as you know. So I think for the dudes, the ironing out of all the differences is in the early years, like grade 8, grade 9, grade 10. After grade 10, I think you had the people who'd like dropped out, or you'd kind of known you're not gonna have many new students coming in by that stage, right?
Yeah.
So by grade 11, 12, everyone was kind of bonding or knew
Yeah.
each other enough that like, look, I'm not gonna start crap with the geeks or whatever, because like whatever, we know each other, we've been to school for a while. So I think by grade 12 I was the dude who liked anime. I was the dude
Yeah, I was the girl
The
who
girl.
liked anime. Yeah, absolutely.
who liked, what is it, just liked anime, liked dressing up.
Yeah.
I did anime art in grade 12
Yep,
to the
same.
dismay of my art teacher.
Same. Yep.
And
It's weird to think how normal it is now. I hate
It's
that.
crazy.
Like you were the only one.
I was the
back
only
then,
one.
But now it is so normal,
And
and
I
there's
had-
so many like incredible people who
Yeah.
are creating like in that space.
put it this way, we walked so you could run.
No.
Because I had to like put forward a debating argument of why I should be able to do anime style art for my grade 12
Wow,
assessment.
That's crazy.
I had to
yeah.
argue for it.
That's crazy.
So I can't say it was amazing either, but it was,
Your art.
my
No,
art
it
at
was
the
amazing.
time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
do
a-
what we can.
This is when you upload to DeviantArt.
Yeah.
You still
I
do
remember.
artwork.
I remember.
And then all of a sudden it's like, you know what, that weird art page I made in the high school art room is now my cosplay name for the next 15 years. That's what it is. That's how it is. Yeah. Marmalade Cos. Let's get to a quick side tangent of that, because we're going to go... we've got a few minutes left to wrap this one up, because
Okay.
it's a bit short on. Public persona. We're talking about personas, perceptions,
gosh.
etc.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
We're going to do a social media episode soon, right?
Yeah.
But Marmalade is
Yes.
like your brand.
It
Marmalade's like your
is.
public name. So it's
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm known online as Marmalade.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone's like, hey, Marmalade, how did you get that? What's the spiel you tell them?
The name.
The name.
The name.
The name.
I will. When you're a baby cosplayer and you're starting out, you realize very quickly that you need to pick out a name. That's a thing. Like a lot of people, yes, you can go by your own name, but I think it's safer to have an alias, a handle that you use.
I think so.
So I think that I was like, okay, I need something that is not Japanese. I did not want a name that
You don't
was
want to be
Japanese
like
sounding.
Sakura
No,
177.
I didn't want that. I was like, you know what? I am a European descent. I want something that is like fits into that like my European, like my Austrian kind of thing.
That's
and
cool.
Made me think of my grandma was a big help in helping my starting cosplay.
Yeah.
And something my grandma likes to do is she makes a lot of jam, which in Austrian or German is marmalade. Marmalade.
So the,
Yes.
the proper pronunciation
Marmalade.
is marmalade. Cos.
Marmalade. No, it's not. But I always have fond memories every time we go and visit her in Austria. She has a cupboard pretty much under the stairs, shelves full of jam.
That's
all kinds of different
cool.
jam, handmade jam. So it's kind of a comforting thing to me to like always think marmalade, and also because it has similar syllables ish to my real name, Maya. I thought it starts out with M-A-M-A. It's like a
cool.
similar sounding name. I feel like it fit me. Another person I was very much inspired by is a girl by the name of Anzu Jamur. Anzu Jamur. I don't know if you know her. She's a prolific cosplayer back in the day.
Back in the day.
Still creates now, but
Cool.
less
cosplay
Yeah,
stuff.
less active. Yeah,
Right.
more fashion stuff. But
Okay.
I was inspired by her name being like Anzu Jamur. It was
About
so cute.
jam and stuff.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. I was
cute.
like, I'll pick something like that. So went with that.
Do you think it's something that's going to stick with you for the rest of
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a bit long, but it's me. Yeah,
That's cool.
I don't think I'd ever change it. Yeah.
It's nice. So I know some people kind of, it's like, I don't like this anymore. I'm going to change to
Yeah,
something, which is fine. Like, you do whatever you want to do, right?
Absolutely,
Just
grow and you
rebranding.
change. Yeah, I just think I found something that's like quite core to who I am.
That's
deep
cute.
down.
That's
Yeah.
really cute. I like
Yeah.
that.
Mm.
My first handle was actually Manga Man.
Manga Man.
Manga Man.
No way.
Yeah, so
That's hilarious.
that was my thing, and after a while, it kind of sounded like, oh, this is a title. Yeah,
no.
Manga Man. That's what it was. So before
so
Facebook,
bad.
before Instagram, before DeviantArt even.
DeviantArt.
Before DeviantArt, there was just forums,
yep,
right?
yep,
There was
yep.
just forums. So you went to Supernova forums.
I remember the cosplay.com forums.
There was a gaming network forums back in the day called PAL-GN. So the PAL, like PAL.
Pal.
If you buy any video game, it's either PAL or NTSC.
Yeah.
Right? NTSC is American.
Okay.
I've got JPN for Japan.
Yeah.
PAL for Australia and England, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But PAL-GN was PAL-GN was gaming network. So PAL-GN forums.
Oh, okay.
Right, and
yeah.
my high school mate was into video games. I joined with him. He's like, "Yeah, you need an online handle." It's like, "What's it gonna be?" I'm like, "Oh god!" First time I've ever done anything. Well, I like manga. I was at an all boys school, like the anime dude.
Yeah.
But the anime Joey, the anime
Yeah, it
man's
was already
taken it and
taken.
run. Actually, no,
Already.
this is before Joey. I'm pretty sure I'm older than Joey.
Okay. I don't know.
Pretty sure.
I'm not
I don't
sure.
know. Anyway, but so Manga Man was a thing, and then
Mm-hmm.
after a while, I was like, "Oh, do I want to take that and run with it?" I don't know. Manga Man was actually taken on DeviantArt.
Yeah, of course it was.
Manga Man was
Sounds
taken on
pretty-
DeviantArt.
Yeah.
This is the origin story of Mangle Phantom, everybody. It's what you've all been waiting for. So, I really like a series called DN Angel.
Yeah.
DN Angel, I've done it. This is it. This was my dream cosplay. It's done. I've finished it.
The big black wings.
Big black wings. I said to myself at 14, 15, I'm not cool enough. I'm not old enough. I'm not mature enough. I'm going to do it later.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I actually did it before
Waited.
I died.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So that's what I'm glad I did. But main character in that, his name is Phantom Dark. He's like the legendary Phantom Thief, Phantom Dark. I'm like, he's so cool. He's like the best thing ever. Oh my god. That was me as a 14, 15-year-old. Big romantic, whatever. And I was like, oh, but I really like manga as well. What if I become the Manga Phantom? That's what I like.
There you go.
Manga Phantom Taken. I'm like, that was a cool name.
Damn.
I don't want to change it. What if I just
Yeah.
like add a letter in between?
Mm-hmm.
Mangal fans. Yeah, that'll do. And that's how. That's it.
That'll do.
That'll do.
You settled, sir.
Settles. Now,
Oh, no.
10 years later,
Yeah.
no joke, 10
Yeah.
years later, someone just commented randomly, like, wow, dude, that's a really cool name. It's like 3 words in one. I'm like, what do you mean? You break it down, there's 3 words. There's manga, there's phantom,
Yeah.
and with the L in the middle, it becomes alpha.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I didn't see it either, and I'm like, dude,
That's
I've had this name for
sick.
10 years old. Not that I've got anything to do with like the alphabet or whatever. It's a
Nah,
that
that's
stupid
cool, though. I
wolf
like
thing.
that.
It's stupid, yeah.
I like that. That's cool.
But anyway, I thought about changing it so many times.
Yeah.
I could think of nothing to replace it, and it's probably one of it's probably one of the weirder ones that exists.
It's quirky. I think it's
quirky.
unique.
I'm
It's
like,
good.
hey,
It
look,
suits you.
If anyone else goes by Mangle Phantoms out there, it's unlikely. So
That's also what I was going for. I wanted something unique.
something unique.
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
anyone's gonna get Marmalade.
I think there's a few marmalades actually, but that's okay.
There you go.
That's okay.
Good thing you
happy to
didn't go
share.
with like...
Not in Australia.
Not in Australia.
You know what I mean?
You could have gone with like Sakura 117.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not a Sakura.
You could have been anything you wanted to, but you
Pink
became
aesthetic.
a jam.
No, I'm good. I'm
That's
good. I'm good with my little cottagecore jam.
Nice.
Look at me in my
you're
gingham.
You're
in my
flannel.
little farm outfit. Yeah, I'm ready.
Ready to make
Ready to
get
go
some
to work.
apricots.
Let's
Here
go
we
to work.
Work time. Anyway, speaking about work, we gotta bounce. We gotta go.
bounce.
Only message that we'll leave you with is like, hype yourself up, love yourself, and if someone asks, or your parents, stranger, like, what do you do? Cosplay? Yeah. Hell yeah, you do cosplay.
Hell yeah, you do.
You
No one
love
else knows what you're doing in your free time except you, so you're the one who has to sell it and make it sound
Sell
good.
it.
No.
And who cares if they don't like
Tell
it? You
them that
love it.
you love it.
You're the only one who needs to know that.
Exactly.
Love it.
Exactly.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in.
Happy Boxing
Happy
Day.
New Year
Yeah.
as well.
See you in the
Why
new
not?
year.
See you in the new year.
Holy moly.
I don't know what we're doing in the new year. We'll figure it out, but
We'll figure it out.
we'll make it happen. Okay.
We'll see you there.
Love you. Love yourself.
Bye.
Bye.
See you next time.